If you're playing on harder difficulties, this is probably the first time in the game so far that you're going to think, wow, this is a little bit annoying. And once we get done looking through all of these upgrade kits, we're going to do our first battle, which will also be mainly a battle with the mechanics of the game itself. So this game is a cover shooter, but it's kind of a terrible one. The cover glitches out a lot. Sometimes you get shot very easily even when you're clearly behind cover because your shield kind of encapsulates your whole body. So if the enemy is shooting your head a couple inches above your head, then it'll still be hitting your shield and can still damage you. And sometimes you'll be behind cover and you'll try to aim and your gun won't shoot. Sometimes in general your gun just won't shoot. You have to manually crouch when you're behind cover. It won't do that for you. If you, like right here, I am the one manually crouching and uncrouching. And sometimes you're going to have awkward situations like on this staircase where you want to kill this Geth Destroyer, but if you try to look over the fence here, it just doesn't, your gun doesn't really work very well. It looks like I'm okay hitting him and he's sitting still, so I don't really have to worry about him too much. But you're going to have a lot of situations that you're going to find later on where cover just is not very helpful. So I'm going to use it right now just to kind of demonstrate how cover is supposed to work, and it works a heck of a lot better in 2 and 3. And for all I know, it works better in the Legendary Edition. But for the original Mass Effect 1 version, cover is pretty annoying, and it's something that I actually don't end up using throughout most of the game. As I said in the previous videos, we can use the arrow keys, or I think on the controller you probably use the D-pad. You can use those to control your companions and tell them where to go. But even if you tell them where to go, sometimes they just run around like a bunch of idiots and they die very quickly. The other hint I'm going to try to give out that we'll be seeing more of later from me is that I'm not going to use cover at all, but I'm still going to hide behind it. I'm just not going to let myself get up against it. Some enemies, like Geth Destroyers and especially Krogan, they love to charge you, and this can be a little bit challenging on harder difficulties because you just don't do enough damage to kill them quick enough before they get to you. So it's really something you want to keep an eye out for. If you see a Geth Destroyer, that should be your first target. If you see a Krogan enemy, that should be your first target. Snipers, Geth snipers can one-shot you, but if you are hiding behind some kind of cover when they shoot, they're no big deal. And the smaller Geths, along with the shock troopers, they can still be very deadly, but they're mostly just nuisances. Right here, we're going to be a little bit patient because both of my companions are dead. My health pack, my Omnigel or my Metagel or whatever it's called, is regenerating, and it takes a pretty long time to regenerate. And I can't actually resurrect any of my teammates. Even when you're in combat, eventually your teammates will resurrect on their own. Later on in the game, I'm going to put points in a skill line that we're not going to get for a few more videos at least. I'm going to put some points in a skill line that will allow us to immediately resurrect our teammates, even in combat. But eventually our teammates will actually resurrect, just after a certain amount of time, and they usually immediately resurrect when combat ends. But for now, I'm kind of on my own, so I'm going to be using my biotics, and the biotics can be stopped by barriers and other cover. And right there, they're both back, so they're both very low health. They usually die pretty quickly after they resurrect, but they are still good distractions. Geth like to put up barriers like that hexagon one up there. You're going to want to try to shoot it. I think I'm just kind of hitting the... I don't even know what I'm hitting right now. It's kind of hard to tell. I think I'm just hitting some of the ground cover things instead of hitting any of them. Finally get rid of the barrier. And I'm using a pistol instead of my shotgun to try to hit this guy from far away. If you have access to the sniper, then it's also very useful here. But if you don't, you'll want to sprint up to, further up to the enemies when you can, and when you're in combat you have a sprint meter that lets you move very quickly for short distances, but only while enemies are around. And when there's no enemies around, your sprint is going to be pretty slow. You have like a somewhat faster walk speed, but not by much. Be sure to use the Medigel when combat is over, just to get your health up a little bit more. You don't have a whole lot of health regen when the game starts. Later on, you'll be able to put on armor and armor upgrades that give you a lot more health regen, or you can just keep using Medigel, and Medigel itself will become more effective as the game goes on.
Set the charges. Destroy the entire colony. Leave no evidence that we were here.
One important tip for succeeding easily in this game is just to upgrade your equipment frequently. As you play, as you collect chests, as you defeat enemies, as you complete quests, you're gonna get a ton of items. So pretty much every major mission you complete, or halfway through most long missions that you're in the middle of, it's not a bad idea to open up your equipment menu and put on some better armor, see if you have any better weapons. In my case, I'm only using shotguns and pistols. That's the only thing I really can use effectively. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I also want to look at different upgrades. Upgrades can help a lot. So combat sensor is kind of helpful, but for the, what are these ones? The piercing, the rounds, the armor piercing rounds. I don't have any of the ones that I really like yet, but I like the rounds that do a lot of damage over time. So fire or radioactive, or I think like plutonium rounds is another one, something like that. And you're just going to try to continually upgrade those upgrades as you get them, because you're going to start off with like Storm 1 or Scimitar 1 or the Upgrade 1, and you're going to try to pay attention, make sure you get the higher number, and just try to put those on as much as you can. And you're gonna eventually just get a huge weapon upgrade. You'll be using one that does like 90 damage, and then all of a sudden you have a weapon that does like 230 damage. And it makes a huge difference against enemies, even a bigger difference against bosses. And it's just going to be very helpful. Be sure to check out your squad menu pretty frequently too. Use all your skill points as soon as you get them. That'll help out. All the little percentages on your skill tree adds up big time. And once we're done with that, we can work on disarming these demolition charges. So there are 4 of them, and the first one is immediately off of the platform. And you don't really have to worry too much about being timed too often in this game. It is annoying to me that they start the game off immediately with a timer. I really hate being timed in games, so this still to this day is one of my least favorite like mini missions within a mission in Mass Effect. But there's also going to be pretty early on like 1 or 2 other moments where we are timed to complete the quest, and then they pretty much stop doing that the rest of the game. So I don't really know why they put so many timers at the beginning compared to the rest of the game. Some side quests will have some timers, but they're mostly jokes because they're like so short it's pretty much impossible to fail, because the thing you have to do is just so easy, if that makes any sense. But for now, we just have to, we get 5 minutes to disable 4 bombs and of course defeat a bunch of enemies along the way. Don't be afraid to disable the bomb while the enemies are shooting you. For the most part, the enemies are going to sit still if you're not moving. It's kind of an annoying tactic of the AI, and it's something that took me a little while to figure out when I was originally playing this game. Is that if you're sitting still and not moving at all, then the enemies are going to do that same thing too, usually. Sometimes shock troopers and, as I said earlier, Krogan or destroyers love to charge you, so they won't sit still, but other enemies later on are definitely going to be pretty stationary, and you can fix that just by kind of getting up and just walking around back and forth, and that'll usually kind of get the enemy to wake up and start moving on their own. So it's something you can do if there's a stubborn guy hiding behind cover that you just want to get rid of. And there's this sniper over here, who I am a little bit surprised I managed to kill from that distance, but that's kind of the cool thing about this game. The guns have unlimited range, essentially, and you can hit anyone as long as you can see them. Your gun can probably hit them and do damage to them. And we already got the 3rd bomb, so the 4th one is going to be behind this arm thing here. And once that's disabled, I'm going to wander around a little bit. Actually, I think all I'm going to do from this point until the end of the level is wander around. So I'm probably going to cut out most of the wandering in other videos, but I'm going to keep it in this one just kind of as an example of what you can do. This game has a lot of chests and other things just hidden around the worlds that you're going to be going to. So it doesn't hurt to explore and try to get all the items, because even if you're not going to be using these items, you can sell them and get basically unlimited credits. and then you'll be immortal once the end of the game comes by. Alternatively though, if you don't want to waste your time collecting them, it's not really going to hurt you. Most of the quests you complete are going to have good rewards, and you're still going to be able to pick up a lot of easy to find chests on your way to the end of the area, and that will be more than enough to get the upgrades that you need. So there's going to be husks and more geth down here, and as I was saying before, cover is in general just kind of annoying in this game, so it's about this point that I stopped using it, and I may use it from time to time as the game goes on, but I really just find it a lot easier to not be latched onto cover and just use the cover that I have more passively rather than trying to use it as the cover system like the game is intending me to use it for. So to finish this area, we just have to go to the beacon, which we've been looking for this whole time, and if you want to get a couple more items along the way, you can just look around, and then we'll use the beacon to finish the level.
Normandy, the beacon is secure.
This is amazing. Actual working Prothean technology. Unbelievable.
It wasn't doing anything like that when they dug it up. Something must have activated it.
Roger, Normandy. Standing by.
Shepard!
No, don't touch it. It's too dangerous.
We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime, the Normandy, a human alliance vessel. It was under the command of Captain Anderson. They managed to save the colony.
And the beacon.
One of the humans may have used it.
This human must be eliminated.
Dr. Chakwas, I think he's waking up.
You had us worried there, Shepard. How are you feeling?
Like the morning after shore leave. How long was I out?
About 15 hours. Something happened down there with the beacon, I think.
It's my fault. I must have triggered some kind of security field when I approached it. You had to push me out of the way.
You had no way to know what would happen.
Actually, we don't even know if that's what set it off. Unfortunately, we'll never get the chance to find out.
The beacon exploded. A system overload, maybe. The blast knocked you cold. The lieutenant and I carried you back here to the ship.
I don't suppose it occurred to you that Eden Prime has medical facilities?
Listen, you're better off in this infirmary than in any hospital on Eden Prime. Physically, you're fine. But I detected some unusual brain activity. Abnormal beta waves. I also noticed an increase in your rapid eye movement. Signs typically associated with intense dreaming.
I saw... I'm not sure what I saw. Death? Destruction? Nothing's really clear.
I better add this to my report. It may... Oh, Captain Anderson.
How's our XO holding up, Doctor?
Well, all the readings look normal. I'd say the commander's going to be fine.
Glad to hear it. Shepard, I need to speak with you. In private.
Aye, aye, Captain. I'll be in the mess if you need me.
Sounds like that beacon hit you pretty hard, Commander. Are you sure you're okay?
I don't like soldiers dying under my command.
Jenkins wasn't your fault. You did a good job, Shepard.
Chief Williams isn't part of the Normandy crew.
I figured we could use a soldier like her. She's been reassigned to the Normandy.
Williams is a good soldier. She deserves it.
Lieutenant Alenko agrees with you. That's why I added her to our crew.
Intel dropped the ball, sir. We had no idea what we were walking into down there. That's why things went to hell.
The Geth haven't been outside the Veil in 2 centuries, Commander. Nobody could have predicted this.
You said you needed to see me in private, Captain?
I won't lie to you, Shepard. Things look bad. Nihilus is dead. The beacon was destroyed and Geth are invading. The Council's going to want answers.
The Council can kiss my ass. I won't let them blame me for losing the beacon. I didn't do anything wrong.
I'll stand behind you and your report, Shepard. You're a damned hero in my books. That's not why I'm here. It's Saren, that other Turian. Saren's a Spectre, one of the best. A living legend. But if he's working with the Geth, it means he's gone rogue. A rogue Spectre's trouble. Saren's dangerous, and he hates humans.
He didn't come to Eden Prime because he hates humans.
You're right. Saren has allied himself with the Geth. I don't know how. I don't know why. But it had something to do with that beacon. You were there just before that beacon self-destructed. Did you see anything? Any clue that might tell us what Saren was after?
Just before I lost consciousness, I had some kind of vision.
A vision? A vision of what?
I saw synthetics. Geth, maybe. Slaughtering people. Butchering them.
We need to report this to the Council, Shepard.
They'll think I'm crazy.
We don't know what information was stored in that beacon. Lost Prothean technology? Blueprints for some ancient weapon of mass destruction? Whatever it was. Saren took it. But I know Saren. I know his reputation is politics. He believes humans are a blight on the galaxy. This attack was an act of war. He has the secrets from the beacon. He has an army of Geth at his command, and he won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the face of the galaxy.
I'll find some way to take him down.
It's not that easy. He's a Spectre. He can go anywhere, do almost anything. That's why we need the Council on our side.
When have they ever done anything for humanity?
If we expose Saren as a traitor, the Council will revoke his Spectre status. I'll contact the ambassador and see if he can get us an audience with the Council. He'll want to see us as soon as we reach the Citadel. We should be getting close. Head up to the bridge and tell Joker to bring us into dock.